There's a loop that runs your life, a pattern you know so well you can almost feel it coming before it even arrives. It's that choice you keep making, the one you wouldn't choose. We have all felt this, and we have all known that deep frustration of seeing it so clearly, yet somehow feeling powerless to stop it.
See, most of us believe that to understand a pattern is to change it. We think that once we finally see the wound, it'll just begin to heal. But if you've ever found yourself in that same argument, caught in that same limiting belief, or in that same exact moment of self-sabotage, you know that this isn't the whole truth. Awareness, it's just the first step. It is not the last.
To really understand why awareness so often fails us, we have to look deeper. We have to look into the silent, automated system that governs the vast majority of our lives.
95%. Just think about that for a moment. That's the portion of our daily existence that's run not by our conscious, present moment choices, but by subconscious reruns. These are programs that were written into our nervous system before we were 7 years old, long before we could ever question them. So they aren't just thoughts, they're reflexes.
So the real question isn't one of just understanding, but of intervention. How do we actually reach into the operating system of the self and rewrite the code? The answer, as it turns out, didn't begin in a therapist's office. It began in a laboratory. For nearly a century, science held a belief that stood like a great wall to real, lasting change. It was an unquestioned truth that our emotional memories were fixed. They were permanent. They were unchangeable. The view was that the past was like a carving in stone. You could look at it, you could learn from it, but you could never, ever alter the inscription itself. And then, in the year 2000, that stone was cracked wide open. A neuroscientist named Karim Nader, working in Joseph Ledoux's lab at NYU, made a landmark discovery. He found that every single time an emotional memory is retrieved, it doesn't just replay. For a very brief period, it becomes soft, unstable, and for a few short hours, it becomes rewritable. This process is called memory reconsolidation. It's the brain's own, built-in mechanism for updating its learning. So when an old memory is recalled, this precious window opens up, a window of neuroplasticity, usually lasting about 4 to 5 hours, and during this time, the memory can be updated before it's saved or reconsolidated back into long-term storage. This discovery, well, it changed everything. Psychotherapists like Bruce Ecker, the co-founder of coherence therapy, they began translating this neuroscience into a clinical protocol, a simple set of steps that anyone could use to intentionally create the exact conditions the brain needs to update its oldest, most stubborn programs. And what emerged from all that work is a simple 3-step practice. It takes about 3 minutes, and it meets every single neurological requirement for memory reconsolidation to happen. The steps are simple. Notice, name, and rewire. The practice begins not with a thought, but with a sensation. So the next time you feel the pull of that old pattern, that familiar anger, the urge to retreat, the desire for the thing you know will only hurt you, just stop. Don't try to reason with it or push it away. Instead, simply turn your attention inward. If it helps, you can close your eyes and then gently ask your body a simple question. Where does this live? Is it a tightness in your chest, maybe a heat rising in your throat, or a hollowness in your stomach? Wherever it is, just place your hand on that spot. Because this is more than a feeling. This is a memory, stored in your body, just waiting for a new conversation. With your hand still on that spot, take one slow breath. The goal now isn't to understand why you feel this way, but to identify the part of you that's feeling it. You're going to ask yourself one more question and then just wait for the answer. Don't search for it. Just let it arrive. The question is, how old do I feel right now? Perhaps it's 7 or 4, maybe 14. An age will come. That is the part of you that's running the old program. Just acknowledge it, silently or out loud. A part of me feels 7 right now. Now, in this moment, something absolutely crucial happens. The adult, observing part of your brain comes online. You're no longer lost in the feeling. You are now the adult holding space for the feeling. And a program cannot run in the same automatic way when it is being watched. This is the moment. This is where the change happens, where that old neural pathway gets overwritten. It all relies on a very specific neurological trigger. Bruce Ecker calls it the juxtaposition experience. This is when the old emotional memory is active in your body,
And at the very same time, you introduce a new, contradictory piece of information. You see, the brain can't hold two opposing truths at once. It has to update the old one.
And you create this experience by speaking directly from your adult self to that younger part of you. With your hand on your body, you offer it the one thing it never received back then. The old fear is finally met with a new, undeniable safety.
If that young part felt unseen or unheard or invisible, you tell it. Gently and slowly, I see you. If it felt unsafe, afraid of being left alone, you tell it with conviction. You are safe now. I will not leave. And if it learned it had to shrink itself to survive, you tell it, you do not have to be small anymore. I am grown now. I can protect us. Now, this isn't some hollow affirmation. This is a targeted neurological intervention. The brain receives the old data, the fear, and in the very same moment, it receives the new data, the safety, and that mismatch forces an update.
Now, this is not a magic bullet. It's a practice. It might not feel like it works the first time or even the 10th time. You are unlearning decades of automated conditioning. It requires patience. This is the work of returning to yourself again and again.
But one day, something will shift. You'll feel the pull of that old loop, and you'll reach for the old choice. And then you'll stop. You will put your hand on your chest. A younger part will answer. And your adult self will speak back. And in that space where that familiar emptiness used to live, you will feel something else entirely. Safe.
3 steps, about 3 minutes. The only process neuroscience has yet discovered that can permanently rewrite the emotional programs that run a human life. Notice, name, rewire.
This is not about erasing the past. It's about completing it. It is how you stop reacting to a life that happened to you and start creating one you would choose for yourself. This is how the life you keep choosing slowly becomes the life you would actually choose.